Hello and welcome. The Beer and Video Games Variety Show will begin momentarily. We appreciate your patience in the matter.
Normally, there would be a song here, but we're being sued by the people who wrote Monster Mash.
Miss the music? Send us non-copyrighted music to play at the beginning of our show. Make sure it's good.
Liquid! You guys ready for some shenanigans?
Get ready for our pretty faces.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the third episode of the Beer and Video Games Variety Show.
Hey,
I'm Jack.
and I'm Bear.
How you doing, guys? I don't know why we're doing this. Okay, can we start over?
No.
Okay. All right. So this week, if you can't tell by the title, we're playing a classic PS2 game, Shadow of the Colossus.
A diamond in the rough, as it were.
And we are reviewing Gulden Draak.
Ooh.
It's a nice Belgian...
Beautiful golden Belgian.
Yeah. Triple. Or as they call it, a dark triple. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, I meant to pop this. As you see, it's already popped. Now, when I was in the kitchen earlier, I was trying to remove the cage, and somehow the cage became attached to the cork. And I swear, I just kind of went like that. Just jostled it ever so slightly, and it shot up and almost hit me in the eye. I nearly shit my pants.
It was like a murder mystery. There was only a faint pop and a muffled cry from the kitchen.
Yeah, it sounded like one of the characters from Five Nights at Freddy's. It sounded like Foxy. So there's
Foxy
that.
sounds like a drunk you.
No, that's you, dude. If we're gonna talk about who sounds more like Foxy,
well,
all one needs to do shut up. All one needs to do is go to the to the long plays. You were Foxying it up like throughout the whole stream.
Did you just interrupt me? I'm sorry.
Were you gonna make a really interesting point here?
Trying to make a really interesting point.
All right, again, look for the YouTube video of the Charizard and Blastoise
fight.
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah,
not really. We're not taking credit for that.
Yeah, no, it's not ours, but it pretty much sums up how we communicate with one another, which is really sad.
Yeah.
So let's see. Should we do a tasting first, or should we talk about why I chose this beer? What do you want to do?
Let's talk about the style first, I guess. Maybe the history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put this down. All right. So, Gulden Draak is a Belgian beer. It's a Trappist-style ale, and more specifically, it's a triple. The brewers call it a dark triple. It's something of a departure from the normal triple. Now, triples are usually characterized by their golden color, their spicy There's spicy notes, like there's usually some pretty abrasive stuff like clove and coriander and other just big robust spices. But you also get a little bit of sometimes citrus, sometimes a little bit of stone fruit. This one does the style differently. It's like I said, it's a bit of a departure.
Yeah.
But it's a really solid style. A lot of people, usually start off, drinking the run-of-the-mill like Bud Light and stuff like that, and then they'll usually transition into something like Blue Moon is really common, and then that kind of opens people up into hefts, and a good I guess halfway point or intersection is the triple.
Yeah,
it's the triple. They're kind of like hefts, insofar as they usually do have a citrus quality to them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're more complex, and that usually opens people up to the craft scene.
And speaking of this beer, it's interesting to get something that really breaks the mold by doing less than other beers.
Yeah.
Usually when you want to use some variation, you really throw in or emphasize one flavor aspect to make it new.
Right.
But this one really focuses on the balance.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like Parabola, I think, is a really good example of a style, and then kind of breaking new ground. Because I mean, the big fad right now for like those big beers is just throw it in a bourbon barrel.
Got no problem with that fad.
But Parabola does it with the whiskey barrel. They did last year. I think they did.
No problem with that either.
Yeah, Four Roses was what they did. So yeah, I mean, just changing one thing and making the whiskey barrel more pronounced. They also had like a lot of like fruity notes in it too. So it's doing more. But yeah, like I agree with you. This beer is doing less to some extent, which is good. Yeah, because I actually don't like clove. I hate clove. I don't like fondement. It's not.
Fondement.
Yeah, I know. It's not a. It's not a good beer for me. And a lot of Belgians kind of try to do that. So this is a beer I like. What's going on? What are you looking at?
The Guido is saying that the mic is actually the star of our cast right now.
It's always the star of our cast.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? All right. So that said, before we get into a thematic discussion of the beer, do you want to have a little tasting?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I do.
All right. So I'm gonna pour the beer. Let's see. Ooh. There we go. It's got that like very immediately apparent carbonation that is indicative of the style. Real airy, real heady. And like I said, usually out of this style you get something that's gold. This is
a bit darker.
It's a bit darker, but
take a little look at that.
But it's nice because at first it kind of looks a bit brown, but there's definitely like a amber coloration to it. A little bit of orange in there, like blood orangey.
So on first smell, are you getting some grapefruit on that nose?
Oh, okay.
Is that what I'm getting? Can that be confirmed?
Let's see. No, I'm not getting grapefruit
what are you
personally.
getting?
I'm getting like a...
You're going to smell it for the next week.
I know, yeah. That sucks. Although it gives me a better sense of what it smells like. No,
and you can taste it a little bit now.
Yeah, so I'm getting like a raisiny, plummy, deep fruit with like a yeasty quality to it.
I could get behind plum.
Not raisin though?
Yeah, raisin makes sense. I think the raisin is why I was getting grapefruit from it.
Maybe.
Definitely yeast going on.
Yeah, it's
really sweet smelling beer.
Yeah, it's like there's also like a dried apricot kind of like a candied dried fruit that you get like at the old people section of the grocery store.
We've got an EW Streegee in the stream today.
I'm trying to ignore that. What's up, buddy? We love you. Okay. And are you getting the booziness? Yeah, 10.5%.
Yeah, there's a good amount of booziness.
Which is pretty... Even though it's pretty normal for Belgians to have more alcohol in them. Did you just fucking taste it right now?
No, dog.
Okay. I was going to be really offended.
Don't worry. Baby, never without you.
Thank you. All right. So... I know that like the motif of this has been we're just gonna put our nose in beer and then like for 15 minutes afterwards like
aftertaste. Oh,
yeah. Luscious. All right, so let's clink glasses. Cheers, guys. I hope you guys are all having your own libation. Cheers. All right.
I feel like there's a little bit of a tartness that doesn't really come out in the smell.
There's a
touch of it.
Yeah, and it's also like kind of astringent. There's a funkiness to it that comes from the yeast cultures, I'm sure. But again, the taste really follows the nose. In that there's a lot of like the deep, dark fruits in there. The first time I had this, I remember it being a bit brighter, actually. I don't know why, because this actually kind of drinks like a quad.
Yeah.
When I
yeah, it looks a bit like something like Three Philosophers, like just in the glass.
Yeah. When I popped the cork, I smelled the cork and it was a little funky. Like there's a definite funk to this. So, I mean, I'm not saying that this is a bad batch.
Yeah.
But it is kind of not what I remember this beer tasting like.
Bevmo.
Fuck. Bevmo.
That's why we got to go to the Jug and Jigger, my friend.
That said, I'm getting a lot of, like again, going back to the candied quality, like a very subtle like caramel to it, a very, very, very subtle toffee to it, which is really weird considering that it's very fruity at the same time.
Somebody in the stream who I won't name wants us to define funky.
Can we define funky? Okay. Let me think of...
Funky is a style of music where the bass is prominent. And...
Well, okay, so funky... I guess I could compare it to like the smell of... This is really not going to be good.
No.
But like the smell of like the area around a compost pile. Seriously, because there's you throw a lot of orange peels in there and
it's
stuff.
appetizing.
It's earthy. You get that in coffee.
Yeah, not quite as good as your description of Wehenstoffner.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a memorable one. Yeah, but I mean, like funky notes are kind of like that, or like sometimes kind of like hay, but then mixed with like the smell of in this case a plum that's been like out of the refrigerator for like an hour or so.
Took the plums out of the fridge.
I did. Out of the icebox.
There it is.
Yeah. So sweet.
Oh no.
So cold. All right.
I'm uncomfortable.
I know, me too. Let's proceed. Yeah. All right, so the appearance of this, what do you give it?
Appearance?
There's a lot of variance around the rim.
We're going out of 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have less, you might be able to get a clearer picture of what it looks like.
I'd give it maybe 3 or lower. It's not too impressive, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not a lot of head retention.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of lacing.
The lacing's pretty weak.
Yeah, I do like the variance of the color.
Yeah.
Like, yours is really deep because you have a lot of it. As mine is coming out, it's kind of opening up the more ruby notes in it. I think it's a pretty beer. I think I would give it like a 3.5.
Okay. You can do that.
Maybe encroaching on a 3.75.
Okay.
Something like that. So how about the aroma? How do you feel about it?
The aroma?
Yeah.
It's good with, it's not overbearing. You know, you get those almost sour notes, the plum, what I thought was grapefruit, raisins, dried fruit essentially, but it doesn't come off like Tart of Darkness, like you're gonna drink a tart beer.
Well, yeah, as actually Big Trouble brings up Brett yeast strains. There's not really that in this.
Yeah,
it would be pretty apparent. So what's your verdict?
Aroma 3.5, I think is
okay.
Safe. It's not too, you know.
Yeah,
we've had better smelling beers.
Yeah, I think 3.5 is fair. Again, I'd probably knock it up just a quarter point. So how about taste?
Taste, I want to be more liberal on just because this is a 10% beer, and this shit is smooth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really working within the...
smooth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I've got to give it a 4, that one.
I'd give it a 4 too. So how about...
So just a note on the taste. Like we said, this is working because it's doing something minimal. There's not too much taste to it. And by doing very little and being able to hide all that alcohol, that really is a feat. But it also kind of holds back on the flavor profile. It kind of limits it, you know?
It limits it, but I think that it actually... I think it does what it's doing rather well.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that there's not a spice character to it, you know, like with something like coriander, which is becoming increasingly popular, actually. But also with the clove. That's like the standard.
It's musky.
It is musky.
Yeah.
I think the chat is frozen.
No.
I'm going to have to refresh it.
Just...
Ah, damn it.
Stupid Jack.
Hey, shut up.
All right, what's next on our list?
I will murder you. Mouthfeel.
Mouthfeel.
Everybody's favorite section of our reviews. The mouthfeel.
Where we get to tell you what things feel like in our mouths.
Yep.
Crispy. It's crisp, not too heavy on the carbonation, but
which is surprising because it looks very carbonated, and high carbonation is usually a big indicator of the style.
It's crispy. It tickles. It's almost like the old Rasputin barrel aged stout kind of had the same tingle. That one was a bit better.
Yeah,
and a lot harder to pull off in its own style. But
I'm getting like as it sits there, it kind of has a weird presence, I guess. Like it's a little sticky in the back end, which is weird because it's so crisp and you're drinking it.
Yeah.
I actually don't like the mouthfeel at all. I'd give it like a 2.5 or a 3.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I'd give it towards the upper end of that, maybe a 3 or 3.25.
Okay.
It's standard. I'm giving 3s for standard mouthfeel. Like it's in, out. It doesn't leave a film in your mouth, which is nice.
Yeah, and that's actually what I'm getting. I'm getting the film.
Oh, really?
A little bit in the back.
Huh.
So overall impression of the beer?
Overall, one of the first beers that got me into Belgians. I still really like it. Overall, a 3.75, bordering on 4. You know, usually that kind of mid range. I mean, we only ever pick beers we like, so
right.
We're never gonna give a bad review.
You know, now that I'm having it after having not tried it in a while, I like it less than I did, but I think that's just because my preferences, my palate's changing.
Yeah.
This is an undeniably good beer.
Absolutely.
But it's no longer the beer that I seek out. I was really into Belgians when I was like, like 23 or so.
You need something to assault the taste buds now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that is what I need.
So should we take a walk to Connection Corner?
I think we should take a walk to Connection Corner. Burke Chesterton could not be here for this show, so we're not doing Theory Corner.
We're not?
No, we're doing Connection Corner.
We do Connection Corner, then Theory Corner to talk about minimalism.
That's right. Okay, so Burke Chesterton is running.
He's
running late. He just called. I got him right here.
Yeah, he's coming in.
So he'll be here. The Burke Chesterton is coming.
So, let's head over to Connection Corner.
Yep, let's do it. Okay, so I really had to push for this beer to be the beer that we were going to talk about. At first, Bear called me a lazy son of a bitch. He thought I was just taking the easy way out. So for the first time ever, I had to write him like I basically wrote you an essay.
Hey, man.
About why we should use this beer.
I did that for Old Rasputin, so...
Not to the degree or level.
Okay, Jack, you win.
I know. That's all I wanted to hear. I just wanted to win.
That was important to you, wasn't it?
It was. That's right. Thank you. Your admission means a lot to me, actually.
Not in front of the kids.
Not in front of the kids. Mom and Dad, fine. Okay, so basically, the way that I made my case, I structured my argument into a couple sections. One is about minimalism and aesthetics, but
and this is all for why this beer for this game.
Right.
Why Gulden Draak and Shadow of the Colossus.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got spirituality, religious, supernatural stuff, genre play, tackling something large, and lightness versus darkness, and that's it. Yeah, okay. So, with genre play, I'll begin the discussion of that. We've already kind of touched base on the genre and what the expectations of the...
Big Trouble wants me to return your essay covered in red ink.
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's error-free, actually. From one red pen person to another, I guess. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I know what your expectations are. I'm playing to my audience. Anywho, so we already talked about what the genre does, but then I guess when we talk about what this beer does, as okay, so obviously you can tell this is a dark triple. It says on the bottle it's a dark triple. It's intentionally taking what we think about the style, the appearance of the style, the character of the whole flavor profile, the evolution of flavors, everything down to the carbonation, everything is. The Trappist style has been around for about 1,200 years. It's one of the oldest styles of brewing that we still practice today.
Yeah,
I think like the only other is like the Berliner Weiss and like Doppelbox and things like that. But I think this is actually older. So what this is doing is it's kind of reinventing the style. It's playing with the expectations. It's not giving you this, but what it lacks in the spice department, it makes up for in like the fruit and in the yeast. Like this does actually drink more like a quad,
right? And
quads are all about like the big bready notes supplemented by a lot of plums, a lot of darker stone fruits, things like that. Mm-hmm. And Shadow of the Colossus is doing the same thing.
Well, on the surface, Shadow of the Colossus is a standard myth, right? I mean, and it's a standard video game. You have a sword-wielding hero helping a woman in distress, and you're going around killing these giant monsters against all odds. Now, on the surface, that just seems like normal game, right? The difference comes out in the mechanics and the presentation in the game, insofar as it plays with the genre because you'd assume killing giants is action-oriented. You think it's maybe going to be more of a Twitch game, more of a slasher, something like God of War, where you kill giant monsters all the time, and that's like a spammer. Right? This game messes with your expectations because the bosses, the colossi, are puzzles.
Right.
They're not so much enemies as they are puzzles. They'll rarely kill you in the game. They're fairly docile. It's about you figuring out how to kill them.
Right.
And if you fall off, you can try again because it's a thinking game. It's not so much about skill. Skill's a factor, but not the biggest one.
All right. So maybe now you should talk about the spiritual aspects of this.
Sure. There's a very large spiritual aspect going on in Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, you begin the game in an altar where you lay this girl and you are talking to God, or a God. And at the end, a pope rolls up, right? I mean, this is a game that is surrounded with dogma. And even the speaking, like when the God speaks to you, it's in another language, right? It's like Latin. It's the Latin corollary. It's speaking in tongues, but you're communicating with something greater. And you read the subtitles, and even in Japanese, it's not Japanese. It's not meant to be understood. It's just sent to you. There's a ritualistic aspect of the sword as a sacrificial dagger, as you sacrifice each of these colossi, and you go around using the power of light to subdue them. Those are the spiritual aspects of the game.
Right, and
where does the spirituality come in the beer?
Well, and with the beer, as I said, this is a Trappist Abbey ale, and the first brewers of the style were Belgian monks. They made their.
Were these guys isolationists? Monks generally are, but
I guess so. Yeah, they would lock themselves up in a room.
Okay,
and
well, that helps our cause.
Brew beer, drink beer, and write.
That's the kind of monk I want to be.
That's I am kind of like that, I think.
Yeah.
Without the spirituality, I guess. So I mean, like this whole beer is grounded in spirituality. It's a response to, I guess it's not a response to anything, but I mean, I guess if you're going to be locked up in a monastery for the rest of your life, you better be doing something, right?
Might as well have good beer while you do it.
Yeah, and so I mean, like, even today, there are many Trappist ales. Like, Trappist is kind of more of a blanket term now. If you're doing the style properly, you can be a Trappist brewer and make Abbey Ale, but you could still be, like secular.
Yeah.
But there are places like, the infamous West Veteran Abbey, I guess. Westy 12. These guys still make it, and it's through an ancient practice, and they themselves are monks. Like the Chimay guys, I believe, are still monks. Like there's a lot of that still going on. So there's that spiritual connection to this. Now, tackling something big, like we said, this is 10.5. It's nothing to sneeze at. It also kind of thank you. It also kind of creeps up on you in terms of the way that you experience the alcohol and the taste itself. Now, there's another thing. The Gulden Draak himself.
Oof.
It's a pretty conscious choice to use a golden dragon. It's a symbol all throughout cultures. Basically, there's a lot of dragons in Eastern culture and Western culture, and it's always the hero, the wanderer, coming in with a sword and killing the dragon.
Talking about the tropes.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we really have to explain too much about how that translates into this game. We have the Wanderer who comes in with the Holy Sword and has to take down these huge... They're not dragons, but I mean, they might as well be. They're these mythic, enormous beasts that only he can slay.
Yeah, and interestingly, that's the surface is, the Colossi are the big things that you're taking down. When in actuality, you're actually trying to defeat death in this game, which is a force more powerful than the Colossi combined even. It's like taking on something bigger because, like you said, this is 10%, and it's going to attack your liver pretty nicely. But most importantly, it almost took your head off.
Seriously? That is an unintentional connection into I almost it almost hit me in the eye. It brushed against my hair and it scared the shit out of me. So I don't know. I've always figured that with all of the bottles I've uncorked in my life, at least one of them is going to hit me. And even if it's only one, it's gonna get me in the eye.
What do we say to the bottle?
Not today.
Not today.
All right, so let's get on to minimalism and then take it over to Theory Corner. We're running late.
Why don't we head on over to Theory Corner now?
All right, sounds good. Let's do it. Theory Corner, guys, featuring...
Is Burke here? Is Burke Chesterton? Is he in the room?
Oh, no, he's going to be up here. No, he's going to be right here.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think he's here. Burke? Are you here, Burke?
Hello, Burke.
Hey, Burke, what's up?
Thanks for showing up. We really appreciate it. We can't talk about literary theory without you in your armchair.
That's true. So, to talk about minimalism, we're going to bring it back to our
little literature.
A little bit of literature.
Little fine literature.
There we go.
Why don't we start with Hemingway first? I mean, he's got iceberg theory.
Yes.
Why don't you start with iceberg theory, then I'll jump in with 6-word short story.
So basically, iceberg theory is that you should probably leave a big portion of the situation and the dialogue and basically everything explicit unsaid, and let the actions and responses and what is said speak for itself, and then draw upon everything that's under the surface. Show that 10%, and then let the 90% reveal itself through the 10%. Yeah. So there's that. That's one of the big ways that we approach minimalism, and we had a discussion about it. Yeah.
And again, it's been present in the beer from the beginning, this minimalist approach to something. As far as an example of minimalism, Ernest Hemingway has a short story called 6-word short story. And how does it go?
It's for sale. For sale, baby shoes, never worn.
Never worn.
Never worn.
And so it seems like a claim more than a story, but under iceberg theory,
there's a story there that, obviously, you can imagine what this is. Is it a miscarriage? Is it like, SIDS or something where, you have the baby for a day or two, but you don't get it back to the house and it dies suddenly on the way home.
Probably bought the shoes before birth.
Right. Yeah. So
but you never even got them on.
Right.
So they're for sale, meaning they have motivation. They don't want to see those things anymore. I doubt they need the money, but they also
how much are you going to sell baby shoes for?
But also they don't want to throw it away because it's important. They want it to be used on some child.
Right.
And so just within 6 words, we have an entire story that unfolds. And that's kind of the point of minimalism and iceberg theory, as we're going to see it in Shadow of the Colossus as well.
Right. Shadow of the Colossus, there's hardly any dialogue. There's hardly anything.
Almost no story. It's playing with the genre of gaming in that you're a guy with a sword, go kill some colossi. You don't need to ask questions. Who cares?
Yep. So, do you want to bring up the turn at the end?
Yeah, Lena says that the baby grew too fast, right?
Came out fully formed. There we go. You guys are optimists. Very good. Unnecessarily dark. Although we're not going to fix that.
Nope.
With what we're doing next.
Nope.
So one of the big things is with Shadow of the Colossus is that the end informs the beginning.
Yeah.
Everything that goes on.
The last moments, and it's not like a Shyamalan twist.
Yeah.
It's not you don't change the trajectory of the story. What you give is context for the story.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's I guess just a greater and deeper experience on the second playthrough.
For people who haven't played Shadow or have played it, spoilers coming now. So, at the end of the game, after you kill all the colossi, the spirits possess you and you become the final colossi. Colossus. And and then this pope from the land that you came from rolls up, basically calls you a criminal and a thief for stealing that holy sword that's not yours. Calls you, on accounts of sacrilege for killing all these innocent creatures, and essentially seals you. Right? He seals you into the body of a child. And although your mission is complete and you do resurrect the girl, the Pope leaves, you're a baby. And you basically find out that your character the entire time is a selfish, violent criminal who doesn't actually care about the world. He just wants to save his woman, which is beautiful in one respect, and he's just kind of an asshole in another.
Yeah. So Endings are very important.
When
they function like
and
this
is like a last 2-minute thing. You know, it's at the very end. This is like the phone call at the end of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, or like the end of Memento.
Yeah, where something just turns the entire narrative on its head very quickly in seemingly one line.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it,
we got something just like that.
We got a Robert Frost poem here. I think.
I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
You're going to do it. I did the Hemingway short story.
Oh, yeah. Off the dome.
Off the dome.
So we got a Robert Frost poem here called Fire and Ice. It's a minimalist poem, pretty short, to show how a few lines can overturn a narrative. So some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice.
There we go. Enough said, right?
Enough said.
You know, there's like I read this poem. Well, actually, for some unfortunate reasons, I can't talk about this on the stream. But let's just say that this poem is interesting in that there's...
At first, it seems optimistic.
Kind of. Depending on how you view
He
fire.
wants the world to end with fire because he said he is with the people of fire. Passionate,
passion,
you care,
desire,
you want to be warm, that kind of thing. You say ice. He moves on the ice and says it's bad, but if you had to do it a second time, it represents hate, so why not?
Yeah, it's the same thing, essentially.
And
the world is going to end in fire.
The last line is...
like, fuck it, who cares?
Who cares? Same result.
Whatever,
Same result.
There's like a pessimistic determinism.
This contemplative poem becomes about who cares? We're all dead. Who cares?
So with that said, I mean... Should we start gaming? And should I start talking to our fans?
I think so.
Okay, alright. So
we've ignored you long enough.
So we're opening the floor to you guys. Alright, I see Vexy. What's up, Vexy? I see Hello Blue. Good to see you. I don't know if you've been here before, but if you have, I'm sorry. At any rate, good to see you. My beautiful girlfriend is here. Bilgamesh is here.
My beautiful girlfriend's here.
The pig is here. Yeah, what's up? Bill has joined the server. Good job, man. How you doing, man? Good to see you. We got some, we got Eric Big Dog Streegi. What's up, man? Good to see you. And, we'll see who trickles in. Is it working? How's it sound, guys? Let me know. Wait, is it on?
It doesn't look like the sound is booting up.
Well, we kind of wanted the sound to be a bit low, anyways. Is that right?
Yeah. Let me try to reboot the game right quick, and we'll see what.
Well, that's nice. Already we have some technical difficulties.
Oh, pshaw.
We went through such great lengths to ensure that this would not happen, and look what happens. Oh yeah, so before we get too deep into it, I got some shout-outs. Again, and I don't know who this is, but on Twitter, I love you so much, Bay. Thank you for shouting us out. 6 Nerdy Chicks and Melody of 6 Nerdy Chicks. Thank you so much. Then we got Vexy, of course, some Guido, some Bilgamesh, and on Twitter, Light in a Jar. So thank you, Light in a Jar. We appreciate that. And thank you, everybody else. It's good to have your support. So we're going to have to do a no sound run, which is okay so we don't get hit with copyright. And this sounds a little wonky on this system anyway. Yeah, for some reason. Yeah. I mean, the sound is just terrible. Yeah. I mean, I guess I can understand just because it's a really big file. But you know, whatever. They're here for our beautiful voices anyway. That's right. How now, brown cow? There's an eagle. Is it majestic? It is so majestic like this game. Yeah. Does it make you think of America? It makes me think of more than America. Ooh. That's nice. Let's see. No, Fire. Hello Blue says, I thought Fire and Ice was an animated movie from the 80s.
It is.
Well,
I've seen that one.
I was also going to say that Robert Frost wrote the first draft of Game of Thrones, so there's that too. What's up? What's going on?
Want to go back to face cam for a sec? We're having some technical difficulties. I know.
There.
Hey, I know. We tried.
This guy's killing me.
We booted.
So what's up, chat? Distract me. Oof. Only if the Eagle fires Hellfire missiles. Ain't that the truth?
We can only hope.
Big Trouble knows what's going on. Cheers to you, Big Trouble. So what are you guys drinking? Anything? Anything good? Let's see, who's in here? Is Guido still in here? He should be. Yeah, Guido, what are you drinking, man? What about you, Bill? Drinking Chinese food again? What?
Our FPS keeps dipping bad.
Yeah. God. No. This can't be happening. Did we seriously just...
Yeah.
We just spent 40 minutes talking about Shadow of the Colossus and Gulden Draak, and Shadow of the Colossus is not working.
Yeah, do you wanna make it even better? The controller's not working either.
Dude, are you serious? There!
It's shit on us. It's shit on us. No!
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Scotch. Oof. Describe that scotch. Peaty, barely, a little bit of gasoline, some turpentine.
Gonna have to relaunch full.
Oh, come on. Obsidian stout.
We don't have a choice. Rip the band-aid off. Let's just fucking do it.
All right, guys.
We're gonna be right back.
Yeah. Sorry. we will launch in a second. I'm sorry. We suck. I know you hate us. This is Kafka-esque.
Be right back.